Can West Ham United get a positive result against fellow Londoners Tottenham Hotspur? Could Burnley and Huddersfield continue their decent start to the Premier League season? Would Everton be able to kickstart their season? Would the Manchester clubs continue their hot streaks? Can Chris Hutton finally be able to beat Rafael Benitez? And would Crystal Palace score their first goal of the season and get their first points of the season? Here is a look at the 10 talking points from the Premier League Gameweek 6. Number 1. Anywhere but Wembley. Maurice Pochettino's men visited West Ham United at the London Stadium. Now apparently the only place in London where Spurs can't score is at the Wembley Stadium. But this wasn't Wembley, and that is why Spurs scored 3 in the game. The team looked confident and clinical. Despite Serge Aurier's red card for 2 yellows and West Ham United's late onslaught, Spurs were too good for their fellow Londoners and claimed all 3 points. Number 2. Marauding Morata. Chelsea's record signing is settling in nicely into the tough life of the Premier League. Striker Diego Costa's move to Atletico Madrid was confirmed earlier in the week, and what better way for Morata to back his manager's decision by scoring a hat-trick. The champions faced Stoke City and never did they look in any trouble whatsoever. Morata completed his hat-trick in the 82nd minute as Chelsea completed the 4-0 rout. Number 3. Super sub Niasse. It may not have been out in the open, but had Everton lost against Bournemouth, Koeman might have been given the orders to pack his bags and leave the club. It looked like that might be the case as Bournemouth led the game through Joshua King's 49th minute goal. After that, Koeman brought on Omar Niasse and Tom Davies. Both of them combined in the 77th minute as Everton equalized through Niasse. 5 minutes later, the super sub was added again as he completed the turnaround and quite possibly saved the manager's job. Number 4. Sensational Manchester City. Pep Guardiola's men welcomed strugglers Crystal Palace at the Etihad Stadium, looking to make out 5 wins out of 6 in the Premier League. Crystal Palace were yet to score a goal or a point, and that record stayed intact as Manchester City ripped apart Roy Hodgson's men. The first half looked competitive, but Manchester City broke the deadlock through Leroy Sané, and it broke Crystal Palace resistance, and after that it was a cakewalk for Manchester City in the second half. They ran out 5-0 comfortably winners and became the first team since Blackburn Rovers in 1958-59 to score 5+ goals in 3 consecutive league matches. Number 5. Crystal Palace, doomed for relegation. The match between Manchester City and Crystal Palace at the Etihad saw the league's top and bottom sides face each other. While Manchester City were dismantling teams, Crystal Palace were yet to score a point or even a goal, and things got worse for them as they were dismantled 5-0 by Manchester City. Currently, they are the only team in Europe's top 5 leagues yet to score a goal. They face Manchester United next week and Chelsea after that, 2 games they'll probably lose. This is obviously too early to say, but Crystal Palace seem to be headed to the championship. Third, bounce back. Marco Silva's side went 4 games unbeaten in the new season before they met Manchester City last weekend. 6-0 the result, and Watford were left in the ruins. The young manager took his team to Wales to take on Swansea City. The team needed to recover from that thrashing mentally, and they did just that. They took the lead in the first half only to be thwarted by Swansea City in the second half. But Watford kept on going and eventually got the winner in the 90th minute. This victory is more than just 3 points as the team recovered from the demolition by Manchester City last weekend. Number 7. Manchester United grinding it out. The Red Devils this season have been playing attacking football and dispatching teams without much troubles. Though throughout a season, there are always times when the team does not play well and needs to ground out a result. Usually in these matches, the team scores a solitary goal and then defend for their lives. This was exactly that game. United scored the goal in the first half through Lukaku and then protected their goal vehemently. They missed Paul Pogba and they played poorly but got away with the 3 points. Number 8. Liverpool's Leicester Revenge. In the midweek game in the Carabao Cup, Leicester City defeated Liverpool 2-0, knocking the Reds out of the competition. The two sides met again on Saturday in the league. After a dismal couple of weeks, Liverpool finally had a good result as they edged out Leicester City 3-2. What was more important was the fact that Philippe Coutinho was an important member in the game, a fact that might put a huge smile on the face of Jurgen Klopp. Number 9. Brighton and Hove Albion snap Newcastle United's streak. Heading into the match, Rafa Benitez's men won 3 on the trot, propelling them to 4th in the table. They were the visitors at the Amex Stadium. The winning streak of the Magpies was ended by the Premier League newcomers as they gained 3 crucial points for their survival battle this term. Tomer Hemed scored the only goal of the game as Albion's resistance in front of their own goal proved too much for Newcastle United to break. Number 10. Gareth Barry, the record breaker. Ryan Giggs' record of 632 Premier League appearances, which was equalled by Gareth Barry last weekend against West Ham United, was broken by the veteran against Arsenal. The Englishman has played for Aston Villa, Manchester City, Everton and finally West Bromwich Albion. The match also saw Barry start a Premier League game for a record 601st time. He was presented an Arsenal jersey bearing the number 633 by manager Arsene Wenger. With that, we complete this week's edition of the 10 talking points from the Premier League weekend. Let's take a look at the Premier League table now. Manchester City and Manchester United are on top with 16 points each, but a better goal difference means Manchester City are on the top of the table. Chelsea and Spurs make up the top 4. At the bottom are Crystal Palace, yet to score a point or a goal in the league. West Ham United and Bournemouth are the ones making up the rest of the bottom 3. Next week sees the blockbuster match between Manchester City and Chelsea on September 30th. We will be back for that. Until then, this is Abhimanyu signing off. Be sure to share, like and subscribe to the channel for regular updates.